Hi, and thank you for joining the Licensing Expert Series on Windows 8. My name is Deb Bannon. I'm with Worldwide Licensing and Pricing. I'm joined here today with Bob Mixa, and we're going to go through licensing Windows 8. I hope you've had the chance also to look at some of the other licensing expert courses that are available on the Microsoft Virtual Academy. If you have feedback on this course or any of the other courses that we've made available, you can go to vltraining@microsoft.com and send in your comments. This course has been created specifically for IT professionals and procurement professionals that are looking to get more insight and education on licensing Microsoft products. Now I'll go through the agenda for the course that we're going to be going through today. First, we're going to take a look at consumerization of IT and today's tech-savvy trends. And then we'll take a look at the Windows 8 editions, identifying the type of user for each edition, and review the channels through which these editions can be purchased. Then we'll look at the licensing and flexibility provided by Windows 8 and go into more detail on various editions. And finally, we're going to walk through several customer scenarios that will give you insight into realistic business situations and how the licensing applies. At the end of this course, we invite you to test out and take the assessment on Microsoft Virtual Academy so you can print your certificate and be certified a licensing expert for Windows 8. With that, I'm going to go ahead now and turn over the conversation to Bob. Bob?
Thanks, Deb. The world is changing. Personal computing has evolved to include devices like tablets and phones that are mobile and which enable people to stay continuously connected. And people are doing so using smaller surface areas and using touch as a major way to interact with these devices. Being continuously connected has led to an explosion in social experiences, not just in our personal lives, but also in how we collaborate and in how software is developed. Powering these advancements are cloud services which enable these connections and allow our profiles and our information to roam with us across devices. And these new experiences have changed how people interact with their computers at work and in their personal lives and are leading the change in the consumerization of IT and the development of flexible solutions to fit these new experiences. According to the recent IDC study, the affluent user around the world owns an average of 4.8 devices, while in the U.S., affluent users own 6.6 devices. By 2014, there will be an estimated 1.4 billion personal computing devices worldwide. And with the digital generation entering the workplace, expectations are raised to a whole new level. The generation has grown up completely fluent in the language of digital technology and has dramatically different expectations about the tools that they should be able to use at work. Microsoft solutions enable you to embrace these trends while simultaneously ensuring a secure and well-managed environment. There is an edition of Windows 8 designed to meet the needs of every organization type, with Windows 8 being aimed at the home user, Windows 8 Pro aimed at small and medium-sized businesses, and Windows 8 Enterprise aimed at larger organizations. With Windows 8, organizations have flexibility, whether on an x86 or 64 or a new WOA PC, which are built on new hardware using cell phone-style chips licensed by ARM Holdings. You can use a touchscreen or a keyboard and mouse and switch anytime. Its beautiful, fast, and fluid design is perfect for a wide range of hardware. And you'll love browsing through the Windows Store and downloading all the apps you want. And those apps can work together too as you share photos, maps, contacts, links, and whatever else you want faster and easier. All editions of Windows 8 offer a no-compromise experience, regardless of the user. And Windows 8 not only provides the experiences that people love today, but also delivers the enterprise capabilities that IT departments demand. If you are familiar with the qualifying operating system for previous version of Windows, then there will not be any surprises. This graphic provides a general synopsis of qualifying OSs for Windows 8, but not all the full details are here, so please refer to the product use rights for full details. As an example, not all versions of Windows Vista, XP, or Windows 7 are qualifying OSs, The home versions are not. Do notice that the operating system themselves go all the way back to Windows 98. Again, for full details, please refer to the PER or to the table in the appendix. Here we see the channels through which Windows 8 is made available. We'll start with Windows RT, which is for devices powered by ARM processors. It shares commonality and code with Windows 8. It is only available through the OEM channel as a pre-configured system on certified hardware and offers users a consistent Windows experience. Then there are the additions of Windows 8 for x86-based processors, which are the familiar PCs. Windows 8 continues to be available through 3 channels: full package product or FPP, pre-installed as OEM, and through volume licensing. You'll also notice that we have greatly simplified the SKU lineup. For those of you familiar with Windows 7, you will notice that Starter, Home Basic, and Ultimate editions have all been removed. Also note that Windows 8 Pro is available as an upgrade from a full package product. Premium SKUs include all features found within lower SKUs. Let's look at the features available with each edition of Windows 8. While this isn't an exhaustive list, it does provide a synopsis of some of the main differences between the Windows 8 editions. All 3 editions run new Windows 8 apps, and Windows 8 and Windows 8 Pro also runs x86 desktop applications. The interface is the same across all 3 offerings. Windows 8 apps are touch optimized and include live tiles to give you information about the data within the apps. While Windows RT, Windows 8, and Windows 8 Pro will all run new Windows 8 apps, Windows 8 and Windows 8 Pro will additionally also support the installation of x86 desktop applications. Other features that are common to all offerings are Exchange Active Sync and mobile broadband features. Available through all channels, and for the ultra-portable RT devices, device encryption is also present on the RT device. Windows 8 Pro has features specifically geared for businesses like BitLocker Technologies, previously only available in the Enterprise Edition, important for those concerned about disk encryption. Other features are Domain Join, Group Policy, and Remote Desktop. Pro also has the addition of Client Hyper-V, the same computer virtualization technology that was previously available in Windows Server. And Windows RT for ARM-powered devices is a bit of a hybrid, as it has a place in both the consumer and commercial space, as it supports device encryption, mobile broadband support, and Exchange Active Sync. And now let's take a look at the professional-grade offerings available with Windows 8. Customers are also eligible for professional-grade offerings with Windows 8 Pro, starting with Windows Intune, a subscription program that provides cloud-based PC and mobile device management and security, up-to-date protection from malware, and the ability to distribute licensed software and to deliver remote assistance, all from a single integrated web tool. Active subscribers receive upgrade licenses to the latest version of Windows, helping to keep Windows-based PCs up to date and secure from virtually anywhere. Organizations can take advantages of the convenience and flexibility available through the various volume licensing programs. Especially important is the availability of software assurance for Windows desktop operating systems, which we will refer to as SA for the remainder of the presentation, to enable our customers to implement new flexible work style scenarios. With SA for Windows 8, we are providing increased value for our customers. In addition to new version rights, SA provides exclusive access to enterprise offerings such as Windows 8 Enterprise Edition and to the Microsoft Desktop Optimization Pack. We also provide greater flexibility for how customers use Windows. Software Assurance has the broadest set of virtualization rights, as well as a new use right called Windows to Go, which allows employees to access a corporate image running Windows 8 Enterprise from a bootable USB. Roaming rights have been enhanced to provide greater flexibility for work at home or on-the-road scenarios, and the Windows Companion subscription license also allows employees to run a corporate image across multiple devices, specifically in bring your own device scenarios. And finally, this comes with the core readiness and support resources that allow customers to better plan, deploy, and manage their Windows use through TechNet, 24/7 support, and end-user and IT training through e-learning and training vouchers. Software assurance can be added to any Windows 8 Pro upgrade through volume licensing and is automatically included in subscription agreement programs. Now let's take a look at Windows 8 editions available through Microsoft Volume Licensing. So let's begin by examining the three main benefits available for customers who acquire Windows 8 through volume licensing. First, volume licensing is the most cost-effective way for commercial customers to purchase Windows. Second, volume licensing is the way to acquire products not available in other channels. For example, Windows 8 Enterprise Edition, which is not available through OEM or FPP channels. Third, volume licensing customers receive different rights and product use terms than those that come with an OEM or FPP license. As a reminder, the Windows editions available through volume licensing are Windows 8 Pro and Windows 8 Enterprise. Let's review some key information about requirements for Windows 8 Pro in volume licensing. Pro licenses continue to be available as an upgrade only. This means that there is a requirement for a qualifying operating system or OS license on the PC to which the volume licensing license is assigned. Windows 8 is available through all volume licensing programs. However, programs such as OpenValue and EA require the addition of software assurance to the license. Windows 8 Pro balances the features users want for productivity and connectivity with the needs of IT, ensuring a secure and well-managed infrastructure. Windows 8 Pro is ideal for small and medium businesses, or SMBs, with benefits such as enhanced security, advanced networking, and simplified IT management. Windows 8 Enterprise is available through volume licensing programs by adding software assurance to Windows 8 Pro Edition. And adding software assurance to Windows 8 Pro license also provides organization rights to purchase key enterprise offerings like the Microsoft Desktop Optimization Pack, or MDOP, which we will take a look at in more depth shortly. Notice that the rights to run the Enterprise Edition of Windows 8 are included not only when you add software assurance to Windows 8 Pro, but also when you acquire a Windows VDA license or a Windows Intune license. A VDA license is a license for PCs that do not have a qualifying OS, while Windows Intune is a Microsoft PC management and security cloud offering. Also note that when you acquire a VDA or a Windows Intune license, not only do you get this extra functionality, but these licenses also give you rights to additional use rights and purchase rights. Customers have the option of choosing between a Windows 8 Pro with SA license or a VDA license. How should a customer decide between the two? Typically, the device to which a Windows 8 Pro with SA license is assigned is a PC, and a VDA license is assigned to a thin client. Windows 8 Pro with SA license requires a qualifying OS, whereas the VDA license does not. So, if a PC does not have a qualifying OS, the customer could acquire a VDA license for that PC. Windows 8 Pro license includes right to install Windows 8 locally. A VDA license does not. The two licenses do offer identical rights. Both licenses give the rights to run a Windows 8 Enterprise Edition, and both licenses include purchase rights for enterprise offerings such as MDOP and the new Windows CSL, or Companion Subscription License. Now, let's review the flexible use rights and CSL. VDA rights allow a business to set up a virtual desktop infrastructure and for the licensed devices to access a virtual desktop stored on a server. The Windows RT Companion VDA rights license a corporate-owned companion or a secondary Windows RT device to access the VDI desktop under the same license. Windows to Go rights give a completely different deployment choice and enable an organization to issue USB sticks with corporate image of Windows 8 Enterprise Edition that users can take to licensed devices and access their desktop. Roaming use rights extend both a VDI scenario and Windows to Go by allowing the primary users of licensed devices to work away from the office on any third-party device and access either their VDI desktop or insert their Windows to Go USB. The companion subscription license is an optional add-on license for when businesses want to allow their users to bring their own devices to work. The CSL covers up to 4 companion devices and licenses the primary user to use Windows to Go or to access a VDI desktop on those devices. Note that a companion subscription license can only be purchased for a device already licensed with Windows 8 Pro with SA or VDA or to Windows Intune with SA and is assigned to that device to give the primary user of that device these special rights. Windows 8 Enterprise features include all the capabilities that customers get with Windows 8 Pro, plus premium features designed to provide the mobile productivity, security, manageability, and virtualization needs of today's businesses. The extra capabilities are in 2 key areas: extra functionality and extra licensing rights. Let's start by focusing in on the extra functionality. Looking at the first 3 areas, you may notice these are familiar since these features were available in Windows 7 Enterprise and have been enhanced with Windows 8. Direct Access allows remote users to seamlessly access resources inside a corporate network without having to launch a separate VPN. Branch Cache allows user PCs to cache files, websites, and other contents from central servers, so content is not repeatedly downloaded across the wide area network. AppLocker can help mitigate issues by restricting the files and apps that users or groups are allowed to run. The new feature with Windows 8 is Enterprise Sideloading, which is a deployment option for touch-optimized Windows 8 apps. There will be 2 ways for businesses to deploy touch-optimized apps, either through the Windows Store, where the apps are installed and updated by the end users themselves, or outside of the store, where a business IT administrators distribute the apps directly to end users within the enterprise. All apps, typically built by ISVs or independent software vendors, are available through the Windows Store and must adhere to certification policies and processes. Windows RT device users and Windows 8 PC users will also need to acquire these apps through the Windows Store. Custom and proprietary line of business or LOB apps, or for enterprise software purchased directly from an ISV, will be made available through direct distribution by an organization's IT, and it's the last mechanism that is known as enterprise sideloading, which is the process of installing Windows 8 apps directly without going through the Windows Store. The next slide gives you a clear picture of exactly what this looks like. Here we see how users can install apps from either the Windows Store or by having them delivered via the enterprise sideloading process we just reviewed. Now, it's important to note that if a customer has deployed the Enterprise Edition of Windows 8, then this edition of Windows 8 is feature-enabled for enterprise sideloading, and so customers running this edition on domain-joined PCs can easily manage the deployment of trusted Windows 8 apps. Now let's turn our attention to the details about flexibility licensing that are available to customers when they add SA to Windows 8 Pro. You may recognize virtual desktop access and roaming use rights for Windows 7 Enterprise. These rights are broadly the same, but have been enhanced to enable even more scenarios. The Windows RT Companion VDA rights and Windows to Go rights are completely new. Let's take a look at how these apply to various licensing scenarios. Let's first look at the Windows To Go new rights included with Windows 8 with SA and with VDA. An organization with corporate-owned devices being used on corporate premises licensed with Windows 8 Pro with SA can take advantage of another licensing use right which allows a user to have a personalized corporate desktop running Windows 8 Enterprise on a USB stick on any of the licensed devices within the organization. And roaming use rights also extend to cover Windows To Go desktops as a deployment option. So this user can go to his home PC and is licensed to use his Windows To Go desktop on that device too, since the licensing rights extend to the use of any third-party device while the user is away from the office, truly enabling the flexible work style. The companion subscription license enables the licensing of companion devices which fall into three categories: PCs, Windows RT tablets, and non-x86 devices like an iPad, for example, which can be corporate-owned or employee-owned. The primary user of a corporate-owned primary device licensed with Windows 8 Pro with SA license can access any companion device that we see here. For a corporate-owned companion PC, customers continue to purchase Windows 8 Pro with SA for these devices. Each additional PC requires an additional Windows 8 Pro with SA license. Companion Windows RT as part of the new licensing right is covered by the user's original Windows 8 Pro with SA license assigned to their primary PC. Corporate-owned iPads or employee-owned PCs, Windows RT tablets, or Android devices fall into the same category from a licensing perspective. They are all licensed via the companion subscription license purchased for the user's primary PC and entitling the user to use up to 4 companion devices to access the user's corporate desktop through either VDI or Windows To Go stick. The companion subscription license is available for customers to purchase and assign to a device already covered with Windows 8 Pro with SA, VDA, or Windows Intune with SA. Now let's take a look at MDOP. MDOP is an optional license available as a subscription which provides a suite of technologies that help enterprise customers take advantage of desktop virtualization, better manage Windows devices, and deliver advanced system restore capabilities through components such as MDOP virtualization technology, which helps personalize the user's experience, simplify application deployment, and improve application compatibility with the Windows operating system. Additionally, MDOP helps manage, monitor, and deploy key Windows features. MDOP shifts desktop repair from reactive to proactive, saving time and removing challenges associated with troubleshooting and repairing system failures. Customers must have Windows 8 Pro with SA, VDA, or Windows Intune to obtain MDOP, and MDOP is available through all volume licensing programs except for the Open program. MDOP subscription is assigned to a device which allows for all of the components to be used with that device. Once the subscription ends, the customer's usage of all the components must also end.
Thanks, Bob. Lots of great information. Now let's take a look at some customer scenarios. In these scenarios, you can see how exactly Windows 8 enables the flexible work style. We'll look at how organizations license Bring Your Own PC and how they enable an employee's desire to work from anywhere. We'll also take a look at some new scenarios that businesses may want to enable, such as those involving companion devices, whether they're Windows RT based and corporate owned, or whether the user is choosing to use a personal device.
Our first company has a Bring Your Own PC program which allows employees to bring their own personal PC from home and use it as their primary work device. The company wants to run Windows locally on the employee's PC. Without Windows 8, there are multiple challenges for this scenario. First, the employee-owned PC often doesn't have a qualifying OS like Windows Pro, which means it cannot be licensed with Windows SA. Second, For those cases where a qualifying OS is present, even with Windows SA, installing the corporate image locally on the device means corporate data will now reside on the employee's PC. Finally, just as IT doesn't want corporate data on employee-owned devices, employees often don't want a corporate desktop on their personal device. Running a corporate image locally requires either separate partitions or requires that employees use their corporate image for both work and home. With Windows 8 Enterprise running on a Windows To Go USB stick, companies now have the option to license employee-owned PCs with Windows VDA, which has no qualifying OS requirement and includes both Windows To Go and VDA use rights, keeping corporate data off the employee-owned devices. In this scenario, we see a company with a set of highly mobile employees who need access to their corporate desktop while working outside of the office. Prior to Windows 8, there were roaming use rights available for the primary user of a corporate desktop licensed with SA. With Windows 8, as benefit of software assurance, Windows To Go may be run from any SA licensed device, but we've also expanded roaming rights to include Windows To Go. This means that when working from their personal device while at home or on the road, the primary user of an SA or VDA licensed device can now access their desktop through either a VDI running in the corporate data center or through Windows To Go running on a USB. And with an internet-connected device using direct access through Windows To Go, the user receives an experience that's very similar to being in the office. In this scenario, users have been issued both a corporate-owned PC and a Windows RT tablet and need to access a VDI desktop from either device. Before Windows 8, organizations were required to license both devices individually, assigning a Windows SA license to the PC and acquiring an additional VDA license for the companion tablet. However, with Windows 8, the primary user of a device licensed with either SA or VDA may access a corporate VDI from a company-owned companion Windows RT device without acquiring a separate Windows VDA license, making Windows RT a great tablet companion option. In this scenario, users want to bring their own devices to the office and access their corporate desktop. Before Windows 8, organizations would have been required to license the primary device with a Windows SA license and then to assign VDA licenses to any devices that the user chose to bring into the organization to access their corporate desktop. With Windows 8, there is the option for customers to add on the companion subscription license, which grants the primary user of an SA licensed device the rights to access a corporate desktop through VDI or Windows To Go on up to 4 devices. Devices eligible for use under the Windows CSL include any type of personally owned device as well as corporate-owned non-86 devices. The CSL covers the primary user of either an SA or VDA licensed device and costs less than licensing a single device under Windows VDA, making licensing bring your own device scenarios simpler and more cost-effective for customers.
Thanks, Bob, and thank you everyone for staying tuned in through this portion of the training. You have an option to go ahead and shut down the course now and take the assessment directly on Microsoft Virtual Academy, or if you'd like to stay on, Bob and I are going to go through some more customer scenarios in different volume licensing environments. So let's go through the first scenario for those of you that are staying on. In this scenario, a customer has signed a platform enterprise agreement. They're fully licensed for Windows, Office, and a Cal Suite across their 700 qualified devices. Their desktop deployment strategy is to implement a virtual desktop infrastructure, and they want to deliver personalized VDI desktops to all 700 users. Additionally, they need all users to be able to access their VDI desktop from any of the 700 devices in the organization. Bob, what's the best licensing solution here?
All 700 devices covered by the EA, which means that they have Windows 8 Pro with SA, licenses assigned to them. In turn, that means that each machine can access a VDI desktop because of the VDA rights included in the Windows 8 Pro with SA license. There are no restrictions on the users as they move between licensed devices because all machines are covered. Any user can go to any machine and access their personal desktop.
In this scenario, the customer has an EAP, or Enterprise Platform Agreement, with 300 qualified devices in their organization, and all devices have a Windows 8 Pro with SA license assigned to them. This company has implemented a virtual desktop infrastructure to deliver personalized desktops to their users, but the customer has many more users than they do devices. They have 750 users that need to be able to access their VDI desktops from the licensed devices. Also, the customer wants to ensure that any user can use any device to access their personalized VDI desktop. What's the best licensing solution here?
First, as in the previous scenario, the machines are licensed with Windows 8 Pro plus SA, so they all have VDA rights and can receive a VDI desktop. Second, the VDI is a device licensing model. It doesn't matter how many desktops you've got stored on the server, in this case 750. You still just need to license at the device level, and because all the devices are licensed, all 750 users can hot desk across these devices too.
Great, thanks Bob. This customer also has a platform EA and 300 qualified devices and 300 qualified users. They are not virtualizing desktops in any way and have opted instead for a local install strategy for Windows 8. They have a mixed environment with 200 users who will use the same PC every day installed with Windows 8 Enterprise Edition. They will deploy a corporate image of Windows to these PCs, but the users are free to customize their desktops. The remaining 100 users will hot desk among the remaining PCs. The customer has decided to deploy Windows 8 via Windows To Go for these users so that they can experience a personalized desktop as they move between the machines. What's the best licensing solution here?
Since Windows 8 Pro with SA allows local installation, the customer has licensed all PCs with Windows through their EA, and so there is no issue with them installing Windows 8 Enterprise Edition locally on 200 of their PCs. However, one of the licensing rights that they also receive is the ability to run a Windows To Go desktop on a machine covered with the Windows 8 Pro plus SA license. They can provide each of the 100 users with their own USB sticks with a corporate image of Windows 8 Enterprise Edition on it, and those users can go to any licensed device and use their USB stick in that device to get access to their own personalized desktop.
This customer has chosen to license their desktops via an enterprise agreement and have committed to the desktop platform for their 1,000 qualified devices, which are used by their 1,250 users. They have implemented a virtual desktop infrastructure and all users access their personal desktops when they are in the office. All staff need to be able to access their corporate VDI desktop from home. These staff members are the 1,000 primary users of the machines, with the remainder 250 users providing part-time services. It is expected that 50 of these part-time users may need to access a VDI desktop from home too. What's the best licensing solution here?
The primary user of the Windows Pro plus SA licensed devices receives roaming use rights and are already covered to receive their VDI desktop at home under the original licenses under their EA. The remaining users aren't covered, but the customer can just choose to purchase and assign VDA licenses to those devices as required. So it's good news for the customer as they originally purchased licenses to cover the VDI scenario, and they have extended the use of the VDI desktop to home devices. The licensing is already in place.
Great, thanks Bob. In our last scenario, the company has 600 PCs with Windows 8 Pro with SA licenses, which they are running locally. They also have 50 iPads and now want to use them to enable senior directors to access their Windows desktop through a VDI from these devices. What's the best licensing solution here?
They can purchase companion subscription licenses for the primary devices that the senior directors use so that they can be covered for their corporate-owned iPads, which cover the primary user to access his or her VDI desktop on up to 4 companion devices, including corporate-owned non-x86 devices. Companion subscription license is cheaper than a single VDA license and provides more flexibility, meaning they are already licensed for extended scenarios when a senior director wants to bring his own laptop in or his brand new Windows RT tablet, for example. Both of these scenarios would already be covered with the single companion subscription license that's already been purchased.
Great, thanks Bob. In summary, let's review some key points about Windows 8 licensing that we've covered in this training. With Windows 8 licensing, customers are provided with simplified and flexible options to meet the growing demands associated with the consumerization of IT. Secondly, if you already know how to license Windows 7, then the model for Windows 8 is built upon that, and customers can continue to license Windows just as they have been doing before. Nothing has been taken away from the licensing use rights perspective, and there are no price increases. Any scenario that was license compliant with Windows 7 will also be compliant with Windows 8. Thirdly, it's especially important to reflect on the extra rights that customers now have. Windows To Go rights, with roaming use rights extended to cover third-party devices, and Windows RT Companion VDA rights, where previously customers would have to have purchased an additional license to cover this scenario. It is now included in Windows 8 Pro with SA. That concludes the training portion of this session. Please now move on to the assessment portion, which is located back on Microsoft Virtual Academy. We thank you so much for your time in taking this course. We'd much appreciate your feedback if you want to send that in to us directly at vltraining@microsoft.com. Stay tuned to MVA for future Licensing Expert Series courses. Thank you.